Okay, it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to start off slowly because I see there are people still joining the event. My name is Neil Glassman. This is my go bag. We'll be talking about my go bag as the next half hour, 45 minutes progress. If you look on the Microsoft Teams screen, you will see an icon that will take you to the question and answer panel. And we've got Karen Ross, who's Northeast Territory Logistics Lead, who is helping me tonight, as she has for the past several sessions that I've been doing, and moderating your questions. She'll feed them to me at the end. I believe the last two times we did this, we managed to answer all of the questions that were presented during the presentation. Note that, well, just first of all, I hope everybody is safe and sane out there in the midst of what we're going through with the COVID-19 pandemic. Hopefully, if you're in one of the places in the US right now where the weather is less than desirable, that you're doubly safe and that you're not in harm's way. And it'll be that way for you tomorrow morning. I'll just shout out, and I'll mention it now, and I'll mention it again, but I'm sitting on a camp chair. The camp chair is one of those things that I pack in my go bag. It weighs someplace between 1 pound and 2 pounds, but is well worth the weight, W-E-I-G-H-T, because it gives me something to sit on if there are no chairs available in the fob, and gives me something to sit on around the campfire if there's nothing available but the ground there. It helps keep me comfortable. That's going to be one of the themes this evening. The objective is not for you to pack in your go bag what I have in my go bag. The objective is for you to pack what will make you comfortable, keep you safe in the field, and provides you with apparel and tools that you'll need. We're fortunate that Team Rubicon provides most of the tools, but there are a few things here and there that you should pack, and I'll get to those. All right, it's 3 minutes past 8, going to get started for real. Again, I'm Neil Glassman. I'm the city administrator for Northeast New Jersey, which is one of the COVID-19 hotspots. Been doing a lot of hanging out indoors for the past 6 weeks or so. I've kind of lost track. Welcome to my dining room. Normally where I'm sitting is where my dining room table goes. It's a little bit of a small apartment, but doing our best to make room for everybody who's attending tonight. And I'm glad you were able to make it. There is an icon on your team screen that will access the question and answer panel. If you have questions, submit them, and then I'll answer them at the end of the session. Just a heads up that toward the end of the session, actually before we start the Q&A, I'm going to give you a code word, and you'll send me an email with that code word, and that will enable me to know that you participated this evening, and I will mark you as present on roll call, mark you as attended, and it will enter you into a contest. Now, 25 participants tonight will win something. If you are in the Northeast Territory, you will win this Northeast Territory patch. If you're not in the Northeast Territory, I ain't going to send you a Northeast Territory patch for you to start trading, but you'll get a coveted and sometimes hard to get Team Rubicon poker chip. So pay attention later to the code word. It'll both reflect on your transcript and might reflect on your trophy shelf. Okay, we're going to get started. People's go bag is really a misnomer because it's usually two pieces. One is a carry-on piece, something that you would throw on your back, and have with you, if you're traveling by plane, you would have with you on the plane, and then your larger bag, which has most of your stuff in it. So this should be called grab your go bags. The number one question we have, though, and before I get to the bags, I'm going to answer the number one question. The number one question is boots. What kind of boots should I get? First of all, if you're going to spend real money on anything, make sure it's on your boots, because you're going to be in these for a lot of hours in situations where you want to make sure that, yep, they really are waterproof, that the toe really is steel or composite. There's the recommended boot for TR says 8 inches, but 6 inches will certainly do the trick if that's what's available to you. Some folks like to have a metal shank on their boot at the bottom, which prevents things like nails from going through into your foot. I know several people whose feet have been saved by that. My preference is to insert that with a separate insole as opposed to have it be part of the boot. The total cost is less, and also you can pull it out if in situations you don't need it, which lightens up your load a little bit. I travel on airplanes with my boots on because it keeps the overall weight of my big go bag down. And yeah, it's a little more hassle with TSA, but at least I know my bag is going to come in at under 50 pounds, and we'll get to that in just a moment. So boots, try to get stuff have boots that are broken in before your first deployment. So right now is a good time, if you can, to think about boots. As you probably know, the only other piece of PPE that you need to provide are pants, okay? These happen to be 511s. There's no shortage of choices. Your military pants will do the trick. Even a pair of blue jeans will do the trick. But the problem with blue jeans is that they tend to get wet and stay wet. Tear resistant is a priority. Water resistant is probably a larger priority, because the wet and the muck is something you don't want soaking through, okay? So I probably will wear these jeans on the plane, or if I'm driving, I will wear my gray shirt on the plane, or if I'm driving. If I'm on the plane, I probably will wear a shirt, if I've got one, that doesn't have my name. I might be really slick and put a piece of blue tape over it so people aren't going, hey, Neil, tell me about Rubicon Jeeps, etc. Okay, so this is the bag that I carry on. Let's talk about what I would carry on if I was going on an airplane. Again, for privacy, I tend to just have a generic Team Rubicon patch here. I've got one with my name on it, so that when I actually get to my fob, I can select my bag out of the pile of 40 or 50 black bags that are out there. For those of you who don't travel by air much, know that the thing you really want to bring with you are your toiletries. This is what you want to have if your other bag gets delayed and you land and you got to have something. You want to have your toothbrush, etc. with you. Medications, you want to have those with you also. In my carry bag, I also carry my iPhone charger. I throw a couple of extra adapters in here, helps me make friends. I usually carry a water bottle and a coffee thermos type device. This saves the use of disposable containers while both in the field and when traveling. Pack them empty, go through TSA, fill them up on the other side. Anything else in here? I think that's about what I got. Okay, so this is what I carry. Now, obviously, If I'm going out into the field and I'm carrying my pack, there's going to be other kinds of stuff in there. There might be some snacks. Water is provided out there in the field, but I might want to pack something in here that I might find I might need. Talk about what some of those things might be in just a moment when we open up the big bag. You'll notice I'm referring to a list. You may not believe this. If you know me, you know that it's true. I'm not really a very organized person. So I make a list. So I know what I should be bringing. Now, TR has a list. And one of the things I'll send you after this session is what I call the Linkorama. It'll be a set of links to references, things you'll need to know, like where do I buy those cool patches that have my name on them? Where do I download the official TR packing list? And where can I get Neil's list so I can edit it and make it into my list? Again, the goal is not for you to pack in your bag what I pack in my bag, or even pack it, especially don't pack it the way I pack it, because I pack too much stuff, tend to travel a little too heavy. You don't need to do that. You can travel a little lighter, and there's some things that you may find are better suited for your needs. The first list I had from TR was back about 2.5 years ago for Operation Hard Hustle. That list was really long and really comprehensive and had a bunch of stuff that I didn't need. Almost forgot, one of the things I bring with me on the plane or throw in my backpack is a jacket of some kind, depending on the weather. This is a weather-resistant jacket that has a zip-out fleece lining. If it's hot, I'll just bring this. If there's a possibility it's going to be cool or even cool on the airplane, which it might be, I'll bring the fleece with me also. This is sort of my all-purpose, put this on jacket, carry it with me. Here's my go bag. And yes, it does close completely when it's packed. But to make it easier for the demo, I didn't pack it. I didn't lock it up. Okay. Oh, one more thing, two more things actually. I forgot that you want to carry on the airplane with you. One is if you have a CPAP or another similar device that's a medical device, you should carry that on the plane with you. You don't want that to get delayed in your luggage. If you have a medical device like a CPAP machine, you can bring it with you as an additional carry-on. So yeah, you got your 2-piece limitation, but if it's a medical device, that doesn't count as one of your pieces. The other thing you might want to do is make some photocopies of your driver's license and credit cards and all that other stuff in your wallet. Leave what you don't need at home, but what you do take with you, make a copy, stick it someplace that's safe and dry. All right, let's get down to the nitty gritty. I'm wearing my shirt, wearing a pair of pants. I'm going out. How many days of clothing do I need? I pack 3 days worth of clothing. 2 days worth of clothing you can certainly get by with, but I'm an older guy. I like my comfort, so I pack 3. And I use these packing cubes to help keep myself organized. On my packing list, it even says, cube number 1 has this stuff in it. Greyshirts. You get Greyshirts when you go out on an operation or a service project or another TR event. If it's a multi-day project, in theory, you get as many as 3 of them in total. Sometimes it can be a little bit more. So I'm wearing one Greyshirt. I happen to have more than 3. So I pack 3 in my bag. Again, 3 days worth of clothing. I'll talk about why that number makes sense in just a moment. I've got to change of pants. Depending upon your personal preference, you may want to have 2 changes of pants. I'm wearing these jeans now. I might want to wear these jeans at night if we go out when the beer flag goes up. Sometimes you can leave the fob with some fellow Greyshirts and a designated driver, or do go some other social event or a meeting with the local emergency manager or something like that. You might not want to wear your dirty work pants. So in my bag, if I'm wearing my blue jeans, I'm carrying 2 pairs of these. Oh, here's the other one. 2 pairs of work pants. Good socks. Blisters are not your friend. Bring at least one pair for each of the 3 days. As you can see, I like to wear something long sleeve under my gray shirt. If it's really hot, odds are it's also really sunny. I go immediately from white to bright red. I would match this shirt so it provides some sun protection. If it's cool out, it provides a little bit more warmth. But even if it's really, really hot, if you're doing things like working in a place with insulation and other things that you may not be happy having on your skin, you may also prefer to wear something long sleeved under your gray shirt. In that area, I'm in a minority. Most people don't do that. What else have I got in here? I carry some handkerchiefs because my mother always used to tell me that a gentleman always has a clean handkerchief with him. My mom was a donor, so I listened to what she said. I also carry some kerchiefs, good for wiping sweat, just sort of all purpose. You never know what you might need a kerchief for. I carry one of these elastic thingies. I can never remember the name of it. It can provide some neck protection in the sun. It can provide some hair protection under your hat. It can serve all kinds of purposes that I won't get into now, but I usually throw one in my bag also. Why would I carry a pair of gym shorts? Okay, I'll tell you because I can't hear you. This is sleep in. The billeting is co-educational. You need to dress modestly at night. This is comfortable. After I take a shower, the last thing I want to do is get back into those pants that I wore all day. So I have a pair of gym shorts to sleep in. Depending upon the weather, I might pull this out and replace it with a pair of sweatpants. And then for the after hours, I've also got some additional changes of socks. Okay, gone crazy with the socks over here, but your feet are your friends. Keep them on your side. Other things that I throw in would be a couple of t-shirts for the evening that I can sleep in or hang out in. Again, I've got a sweatshirt if I anticipate that it's going to be cold weather. You really want to pack weather appropriate. You don't have to go too crazy with it though. For sleeping, you can bring pajama bottoms. If it's going to be cold, bring a warm cap. All of that is weather related, weather appropriate. So you've got your basic uniform for the day. If it's going to be wet, you've got your water resistant jacket. If it's going to be cold, you've got something that can help you bundle up. So I said 3 days. Why 3 days? Because our great friends at logistics on an operation will arrange for laundry. Now, laundry may not start up the first day or even the second day, but generally laundry is collected and processed every 2-3 days at most. So wearing one set of clothing, packing 3 days, that's the maximum you're going to need. Some folks are okay recycling. Again, I'm an older, their clothes, wearing something for 2 days. I'm an older guy. After I take my shower, I prefer to condemn most of my clothes. I pack my own mesh with my name, mesh laundry bag with my name written on it in permanent ink, because what logistics is going to want me to do is throw all of my laundry in here, tie it up, throw it in the pile, and then I'll get it back. Sometimes wash and fold. Sometimes I'll just get it washed and dried, still in the mesh bag. Other things I carry in here include, remember I told you, feed your friends. I carry some foot powder. There's probably going to be foot powder on the fob. If you don't bring this foot powder, it won't be on the fob. If you do bring it, there'll be plenty available to you. This is my sleep kit. Now, I do carry a CPAP machine, but the fob could be a little bit noisy. I might choose to go to bed earlier, so I carry some earplugs. Again, earplugs should be available on the fob, but I pack mine just in case. In this kit also, I've got a face mask to cover my eyes when I'm sleeping, and I also have a spare pair of glasses. If I break my glasses, I am SOL and useless to everybody. So I carry a spare just in case they're needed. Also in here, I carry some eyeglass wipes and Ziploc bags. You never know when you're going to need to organize something, and heavens knows I need to stay organized. Couple of side notes here. Because I was talking about snoring, we do our best to separate the snorers from the people who lie and say they don't snore, but there's no guarantee that that separation is going to take place. So the building may get a little noisy in the evening, not because anybody wants it to be, but because they're snoring. Be prepared for that. Also, there could be light there beaming in that can't be blocked, so a face mask is recommended. Operations can be stressful for everybody. Bring what you need to get through. For women, that means personal hygiene products. Be sure you have those. If you carry an EpiPen, don't leave that at home. Have that with you, and be sure at least one of your TR buddies knows where you have it on your body or in your pack. The only hospital run I've ever seen on the many operations I've been on is when someone with a shrimp allergy tasted something off of someone else's plate that had shrimp. Fortunately, the person sitting right next to her knew where the EpiPen was. Bam, saved her life. Special food requests when we're talking about food. If you have special requirements, you have celiac disease or a shrimp allergy or something like that, let your point of contact know before departure. We'll do everything we can to accommodate you. However, you should really know that you may not have your first choice of food, but you're not going to starve. If the operation cannot accommodate you, you'll learn that from your point of contact before you depart. So what else do I travel with that I expect to find at the fob, but might not? I've got a little portable first aid kit here that I've put together. I've got some moleskins and some acetaminophen and a couple of bandages and things like that, and several rolls of travel toilet paper, which I always hope that when I'm out there in the field, I'll never need, but be a good guy and lend to somebody else. All right. Towels. Never forget your towel. No, this is not an episode of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I carry 3 towels. When I travel by car, reduce it to 2 when I'm on the airplane, so my bag is a little bit lighter. I carry real pillowcases. Nothing says home like a real pillowcase. But I'm probably getting ahead of myself when I talk about real pillowcases, because I forgot to mention that I've got an inflatable pillow. This is light, this is pretty comfortable, and with that real pillowcase over it, I can probably get a good night's sleep. And you're gonna want that good night's sleep. If it's a car deployment, I can throw my own pillow in the car. Sometimes when you're out there in the field, you have the opportunity. There's pretty much a daily run to Walmart. You can give the logistics person $10. Buy me a pillow. They'll get you a pillow, and then you can leave it at the fob and paying it forward for the next Greyshirt. You're going to want some kind of air mattress. Actually, next to my boots, this was, this is not super expensive, but compared to the other things that I bought, this was one of the pricier air mattresses that I could buy. It's thin, it's effective. You can see it rolls up to nothing. When it inflates, it doesn't inflate very thick, but it makes sure that wherever that Red Cross cot is going to stab you in the back, it won't stab you in the back. I've got my jungle bag, sleeping bag. It's a relatively lightweight bag. The temperature at the fob, should be relatively comfortable. You won't be freezing to death. You may get a little bit warm, but that's why I carry, this is my spoiler device. This is a silk and cotton sleeping bag liner. It's light enough so that it's not much to carry. If it's cool in the fob, I can use it inside the sleeping bag to add a little bit extra warmth. If it's warm in the fob, I can put this on top of my sleeping bag and sleep in it and maintain modesty. What else we got here? Oh yeah. You don't know where that FEMA shower or that who was in that YMCA shower before you when you're in a disaster zone. So I use Crocs. I bring an old pair of Crocs. I can wear these in the shower. I can wear these around the fob. I can wash them clean pretty easily. They dry really quickly. These are sort of my, okay, I got to get my boots off and let my feet rest a bit. This is my go-to. I would probably also pack in a pair of sneakers or some other comfortable closed-toe shoes should there be excursions off the fob and you don't want to wear the boots you've been mucking out in all day. Just a couple of more quick things in here. This is the stuff that I can't put in my backpack because the TSA will take it away from me. I've got my utility Leatherman here with all those devices. I've got some paracord. I've got a flashlight. And then one of those things that makes Neil is a packet of travel duct tape. You never know when you're going to need duct tape, and you may not want to wake up the logistics section chief to find out where the duct tape is stored. Last but not least is what I call my Good Samaritan bag. In here, I've got an adapter. It's got some USB connections on it, a couple of AC connections to split things out. I've got a very thin but fairly durable 6-foot extension cord that I carry with me because I know I need to plug in my CPAP machine. There are bound to be places to plug things in on the op, but they may not be totally convenient to you. Also in here, I carry, because it was on the list from Hard Hustle, is a headlamp. It glows white, it glows red, it blinks, it sends Morse code, all based on my brain waves. I've never used it. For the most part, when you get up to pee in the middle of the night, people are using their iPhones, and it's a wonderful thing to have the iPhone. You have it there anyway. And but I'll be darned, I bought this for Hard Hustle. I'm going to carry this with me on every TR operation. Other things you might want to consider would be earbuds if you want to listen to some music or podcasts in the evening when you're relaxing. Some folks travel with a small Bluetooth speaker, which can be used either in the fob or sometimes in the field, because the soundtrack can certainly help make things go a little bit smoother. Let's see. I'm going to take my glasses off because we're going to start to take questions. Question about, can I make julienne fries with the headlamp? The answer is no. Okay, before we get to the other questions, I want to let you know what the code word is. And the code word can be 1 word or 2 words, your choice. We'll see how many people spell it each way. The code word is duct tape. So everyone who's attending should send me an email with either the subject line or someplace in there saying code word duct tape, okay? And that will enable me to mark you present in roll call. And again, for those of you joining late, we'll enter you in the contest. If you're from the Northeast Territory, you get a Northeast Territory patch. Or if you're not in the territory, you get a coveted TR poker chip. So 25 people out of the more than 100 people attending will have the chance to win that. All right, what have we got here? It is, first of all, it is duct tape, not duct tape. That's the first answer to the question. Okay, the chair, let's see if I can show it to you. It's pretty simple, okay? It's mesh, lightweight legs. It folds up to almost nothing. In fact, it is, if I can find it, smaller than my sleeping bag, okay? A little heavier than the sleeping bag, but well worth that little bit of extra weight. Explain my definition of good socks. Okay. Good socks mean, high mileage ones that are likely to get a hole in them in the field. Nope, don't do that. I'm a big fan of smart wool. Those can be pricey, but you can get them. You can get alternatives that are lower price than that. But also a good pair of socks, just like a good pair of boots, will last you a long time. You want something comfortable. You want something that matches your that fits well and fits in your boot and feels right to you. Also, I found that the smart wool, although the washing instructions provided by the manufacturer are a little bit prissy, that they will withstand the, just throw everything in this guy's mesh bag in the wash and hot water and dry it at subtropic temperatures. They tend to survive that. So that's what I mean by a good pair of socks. What make, model backpack do you use? Okay, well, I'll answer two questions in one there. First of all, the backpack is a 511 that was on sale at Amazon. I think find something that works for you. This has got a gajillion little pockets here and there, which was more important to me than being able to stick 49 patches on the outside. You want something that's relatively lightweight, something that is a little bit, at least a little bit water resistant. Remember, you've got your plastic garbage bags in your kit that you can always put over your pack if you need to, but you want something rugged and because you don't know what you might be sitting it in. In terms of the big go bag, I was, for my previous several careers before retiring and joining Team Rubicon, I did a lot of air travel and I had this bag. And, it's light, which is important because you want to keep it under 50 pounds. Worth mentioning, if you are deployed and you fly and the airline charges for a bag, TR will pay the baggage fee. However, if it's 51 pounds and you have to pay an overage fee, you're stuck with that cost. Besides, do you really want a bag that weighs more than 50 pounds? You really want a bag that weighs more than 40 pounds that you're going to be throwing on trucks, you're going to be dragging around. Remember, you pack it, you schlep it. So I had a bag. Somebody earlier today said, I want to know, if I need to add a bag to my collection. If you've got something that all your stuff will fit into and it's relatively light and relatively rugged, use it. Let's see. Are suitcases part of a backpack? Does it depend on the op? Depends on you. That's what I think. I think most folks carry something more along the lines of a duffel bag than they do a suitcase. I'm in a minority. Again, this is not about you doing what I'm doing or doing what is on a defined list that says, hey, this is what you got to do. It's more about finding what works for you. Remember, you also have to afford all of this stuff. That's where the list, which I know buried here someplace, there it is important. I don't have all this stuff in this bag all of the time, but my go bag is always ready because I've got the list. I can, within a couple of hours notice, rummage through the dresser, pack this up according to the list, and be ready to head out the door if I need to. Back bags for packing. Not my thing. Maybe it's yours. I think that when you get to the fob, if you're going to be packing up dirty clothes, you'll be packing up clothes in that bag. Quite honestly, I don't know. Maybe somebody can tell me, send me an email afterwards. How easy are those to clean? So you end up with really grody clothes on the trip back, and you've got to pack them in your in those bags. Again, that's why I carry garbage bags with me, because to take grody things back. So that's the long answer to the short question. Excuse me, the long answer to the short question. Yes, I had that right. I don't have an opinion on those. What goes in the backpack during the day of deployment? Okay, generally things like lunches and water and Gatorade get packed in coolers. So in my bag, I would pack my little first aid supplies, even though there's a first aid kit with every strike team. There might be something like some moleskin that I might need if I got blisters on my feet that I might not find in the kit, or I might need 3 of something and then only 2 left in the kit because we used 1 up the day before. I do carry the travel toilet paper. I have my phone in a plastic bag. You try not to use it when you're out there in the field. If you're a strike team leader or PIO or something like that, you might have some paperwork in there. But overall, it's more like your security blanket. It's a place when you're going to muck stuff out, you can leave your wallet and in your pack, and everything gets locked securely in the truck, so that it sometimes serves as just an oversized purse, as well as a few emergency and potentially needed supplies. Yes, my backpack is my day bag. I do not pack something separate. Those two things are one and the same. I can't see any reason to bring a third pack. I had that thought, and then I realized no need to. My email address. Oh, come on. Everybody should have got an email from me today. If you didn't get an email from me today, look in your spam folder. It's also listed on the event and roll call. It's Neil, Neil Glassman, GLASSMAN, at the overly long teamrubiconusa.org. Again, look for that email from me. You can just respond to that one, or you can click the link on the event and roll call. Both will get to me. Should I bring cash? How much? You're not really going to be going on a big shopping spree. You might have the opportunity to go out in the evening. You might find you need something. You want something like a hat, or because you forgot yours torn. You might want to buy the pillow, which I referenced before. If you're someplace cool, you might want to bring, buy something that's a souvenir. If you carry $50, $100, that would do it. Probably having a credit card with you is good. If you're going into a true disaster zone where there is no access to ATMs or credit card use at all, you will be advised of that probably before you go, or it'll be pretty obvious to you when you see the pictures of where you're going. For the most part, remember, we're going into disaster zones that are now safe and secure. We don't go there unless there's food, unless there's fuel, and unless it's, at the time we go, unless it's safe. So, I would carry $50 or $100 with me. You could do a little more, a little less, and still be safe. FYI, the next thing is called a gator. Thank you. Thank you. I probably should have made whatever the neck thing the code word. Does the chair fit in the suitcase? Yeah. Like I said, the chair packs up smaller than this when all the two pieces fold into each other. Okay, so yeah, it definitely all goes in there. Remember, we're talking about everything has got to fit in your go bag, your day pack rather, and your suitcase if you're going on an airplane. That's all that's all you really need to carry, and all you should be limited to. If you're driving someplace for an op and staying there for a few days, you could throw all kinds of crap in your car, but you're not gonna want to. You'll regret it afterwards. Do you pack an air pump handheld? No. The air mattress is one of those, 20, 25 blows does it. Since you're doing it before you're usually the first day out on the operation, you still have the energy and the breath to take care of that. I've seen people on ops they've driven to bring really sophisticated air mattresses, things that sit on the floor and they're 3 feet deep, and they've got their own pump and they generate their own weather system. But I don't think that for general purpose air mattress, if you can't blow it up, you probably have the wrong air mattress. Oh, this is brilliant. I pack a cheap shower curtain liner. I use it to give me a clean area under my cot and personal area. Yes, love that. That's fabulous. I'm going to steal that idea and I'm going to add it to my list. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Are bars of soap available at the fob? Maybe. Travel self-contained. Bring your own soap, bring shampoo, bring toothpaste, obviously toothbrush. Go self-contained. If things are there, how much sharing do you want to do? Again, we're trying to be courteous, we're trying to be safe, we're trying to be clean. But all of us have been out there getting real dirty during the day. And personally, I wouldn't want to share a bar of soap. Bar of soap doesn't weigh all that much, or a small container of body wash will do the trick also. It sounds like all gear, clothes, etc. should be marked with our names. True? I don't. I've got, a standard can't rip me off bag tag on my suitcase. I've got my name on the outside of my my backpack. That's about it. All my stuff stays self-contained near my cot or my piece of floor, wherever it is that I'm sleeping. Usually it's a cot. And I trust my fellow Greyshirts that they're not going to be poking around and mixing my stuff up with their stuff. If you when you do laundry day, if your bag has your name on it, whoever's doing the laundry is responsible for keeping track of things. Sometimes there's a wayward pair of socks. That gets resolved pretty quickly once the laundry gets returned. I didn't bring red socks. I brought blue socks. Oh, I got them. Okay, solved. Is Sharpie a good marker that will stay on the shirts when they're getting washed? And a mini first aid kit, a good, I can't see the bottom of that. Karen, can you just type in some X's or something in the chat so I can read the rest of that? Thank you. Yeah, any sort of permanent marker will be useful. If I get to the bottom of this, someplace here are my gray shirts, because I pulled those first. I mean, this has been washed a dozen times, a score of times, 100 times, I don't know. I mean, I scribbled my name on it, it stayed. So any sort of permanent marker, usually you'll find those on the fob. If to do this, some people go a whole lot fancier than I do. But any kind of permanent marker will do the trick. Question about a mini first aid kit. You can bring that if it makes you feel comfortable. But what I did was pack the few things that I thought I would need that I'd be least likely to find. Again, moleskin, acetaminophen. I can't take aspirin. I can't take Motrin. I have to only take one kind of pain relief. You know, a couple of big gauze bandages, things like that, a couple of Band-Aids, things that I think I might need. If you've got a mini first aid kit, it might just be easier to pack that. Bug spray and sunscreen. Inevitably, those will be the first thing that logistics will point you to when you arrive at an operation if you're at risk of sunburn or getting bitten alive by insects. That will also be provided to go on the trucks when you head out into the field. At night's end, do we split the cost of the beer or is that provided? All right, now we're wandering off into the much more interesting things than what to pack. Basic rule at when the beer flag goes up is that Team Rubicon will pay for 2 beers per person. There's some room for interpretation there as to whether or not you're permitted to drink more than 2 beers. For those of you who say the answer to that is yes, if you're in a place where there's a designated driver and etc., and you want to buy some beer, yep, you can certainly have some money to buy some more beer. If your answer is to no, then the answer is no. If we forget something, is there someone that we can have go get it? The answer is your good friends at Logs will get things for you. Depending on what you forget, Team Rubicon may pay for it. Don't count on it though. And you may not get it when you need it. So if you wake up in the morning and realize, oh my God, I have no socks, you're probably going to be borrowing it from somebody because the Logs runs to go buy things are not going to happen until during the day when you're out there in the field. The logistics people are fabulous on these operations. They have many, many roles, one of which is to make sure you have what you need to be safe, to get shit done, and to be comfortable. Now, you can't go over the top. I was on an operation where people were very specific, not only about the type of tea they wanted, but the brand of tea they wanted. That's a little overboard. Be reasonable, but if there's something that's really a need, talk to someone on the logistics team and they'll do their best to set you straight. It might not be immediate, but they'll do the best to help you out. And your fellow Greyshirts, there's bound to be someone like me who overpacked several days worth of clothing who can help you out in a pinch. I see a lot of TR pictures of coyote tan go bags. Is there a preference for black and tan? I have now been advised that the color is actually sandstone. The model is the 511 Rush 12. So we know exactly what that is. What's the preference? Whatever you like. Look, I come with this suitcase. No one said, you know, no, I'm sorry, you can't go out in the field, or we're buying you an airline ticket home because you brought the wrong bag. You can't bring the wrong bag. You bring the right attitude, and you bring the right stuff in the bag, and you're good to go. Lots of questions about specific brands for pants, socks, bags, etc. Use the guidelines, okay? The guidelines will tell you what you need. Look, if you need water-resistant pants, you can go to a surplus store or a used clothing store and buy something used that can get you through a couple of ops and save you a whole lot of money. Some folks look at brands as a way for prestige. If you go to the sit room, you can start one of those discussions that never ends about what pair of pants is best, and that's sort of like saying what's the best team in baseball. It's a lot of that's going to be personal experience, where you live, where you're coming from, and what you've used in the past. Find something you like. Odds are, if you remember, I need, for example, water-resistant, tear-resistant pants. you're going to make the correct decision 95% of the time. I need comfortable shoes that meet these criteria. I mean, comfortable boots that meet these criteria. 99% of the time, you're going to go, oh, I made the right decision. So, and it's not a competitive thing to say, oh, you've got this brand, you've got this brand, except for those who, you know, get into that sort of discussion. What do you pack to stay warm? What do you pack that's lightweight to stay cool? Well, I showed you my gym shorts. So at night I can wear my gym shorts, flip-flops, I wear clogs, the Crocs rather, and a t-shirt, and that's as cool as it's gonna be. I could sleep on top of my sleeping bag, or as I said, I've got that lightweight sleeping bag liner. I can tuck into that for just a little more modesty when I'm sleeping at night. So during the day, if it's hot, you're gonna be hot. End of story. You're wearing a helmet, you're wearing eye pro, you're wearing a mask. You've got water-resistant pants, which by nature don't breathe as well as other pants. You've got gloves on. And you've got pretty substantial work boots. So you're going to be hot. So the trick there is to cool yourself from the inside out, water, Gatorade, etc. Take smart breaks, stay out of the sun when you can, etc. Hot is out there in the field is the way it's going to be. Especially when working at certain hurricane responses. What about ticks and fleas? What about them? Oh, okay. They can be an issue in the field. When you go out, you can tuck your pants into your socks to provide a little bit of protection. Bug repellent of all kinds will be provided for you on the operation. You don't have to worry about bringing that yourself. But one of the things that's the responsibility of the safety officer is to advise everybody, create really good situational awareness and say, hey, this is the terrain. Here's what you got to watch out for. And really tick checking your buddies is something that you may have to do after you get back in from the field. But just along with everything else related to decon, you do it with a smile. Do you carry specific snacks, food? I have several food allergies that are definitely a concern. Okay. If those, there is a place to put those on your profile in roll call. Whether those are going to get seen or not by the operation before you're deployed is a big question. You should definitely, if they are serious food allergies, bring those or something like celiac disease, bring those to the attention of the point of contact on your dispatch instructions before you go out there in the field. Every effort will be made to accommodate you. So for example, if there is a Walmart, if you're at a fob with a microwave, you can get some appropriate food that you can zap and you can eat. However, at the operation that we just had in the Bahamas, that wasn't much of a choice. If somebody had severe food allergies, they weren't going to have a choice because there wasn't much in the way of fresh food. A lot of the meals were MREs. Maybe some meals could have been swung, but it could have been a problem. Again, we do our best to accommodate you, but you've got to make us aware before you leave what the issue is. And it may just be the case that we're going to have to say, look, this isn't going to work out. Now, as a city administrator, just as an aside, what I see as the best thing that I can do is put together a team of local Greyshirts who can respond locally, who can go out in the morning from home, respond to an operation, and drive back home again. in those local operations, or even just 1 or 2 days of billeting, where you can just throw your stuff in the car and be a little more self-contained, that's something to be proud of. But if you're going for a week, you're going to have to meet Team Rubicon halfway and realize that there are things we can do and things we can't do. Are hard hats, work gloves, safety glasses supplied, or should we bring them as well? All right, whoever asked this question, if you took TR 101, I want to know, because I'm going to turn your pass into a fail, because that's one of the key things that is there. And in fact, I said it earlier. You bring your pants, you bring your boots, Team Rubicon takes care of the rest of your personal protective equipment. And I was kidding about changing your TR 101 to a fail. I've been talking a long time, you've been listening a long time, and maybe you were just testing to see if I was still paying attention. But definitely all the other PPE, except for your work boots and your pants, will be provided by TR. Can you bring Shlomi to an operation? I would love to bring Shlomi to an operation. Right now, Shlomi is working on her, Shlomi is my 10-month-old pit bull mix. She's working, been working for about an hour now on a Kong. She's gonna run out of patience any moment now, but I don't want to disturb her. If you want, hit me up, I'll send you a picture. But in general, let's talk about pets on an operation. Again, it's a side thing. There is a policy. If you go to the knowledge base on roll call, in fact, I'll link it in the Linkorama for this class, what the policy is for service animals on operations. I can't bring Shlomi on an operation. If I have a service animal, there are certain rules need to be followed. I'm not going to get into that now, but I'll be sure to provide the link. And then just as a reminder, if you haven't already, and if I were you, I would have already sent me an email that says duct, D-U-C-T, tape, as either the subject or someplace in the body of it, then you should do that now to make sure you get credit for the class and to make sure that you're in the running for one of these sweet pieces of TR swag that'll go to about 25 people. We've got about 2 minutes left. If I don't get to your question, ask it in the email you sent to me, and I will do my best to respond. Is distilled water available for CPAP users? Generally not. And I know that's an issue when you're traveling on a plane because you can't bring that with you. But it's one of those things that, it's not readily available, but it's one of those things, if you're the first person on the op to arrive in the first wave and you've got a CPAP machine, you may not have that distilled water the first day, but logistics will get your back by the second night for sure. So I answered that question both ways. Let me change the answer. The correct answer is yes, it will be provided for you. No, it may not be there when you arrive. And you may have to, be a little dehydrated on your first night. Can we bring laptops? Sure, but why would you? You're out there to get shit done. In the evening, you've got the companionship of the best human beings on earth, members of the TR Nation. Why would you want to stick your head in a computer instead of hanging out with your fellow Greyshirts? Now, if you've got employment that requires that you be online, you should be concerned about internet connectivity. That may not always be easy. There is internet connectivity for the CNG to run the operation, but oftentimes that's really, really limited, and there may not be enough bandwidth to share. If there is, people are happy to share it with you. But if you have to bring a laptop to try to get a certain number of hours a night of work done, you may not, one, you may not have the energy, two, you may not have the Wi-Fi or the internet connectivity. How are meals taken? Meals are great. Meals are family style. Most gray shirts are quite capable of gaining weight on a TR operation because there's plenty of food. Whenever we can, we serve good hot meals. Whenever we can, there are gray shirts who step up and volunteer to do cooking. Last operation I was on, Operation Born to Muck, one night there was grilled food for dinner, and all of the special requirements were able to be accommodated because of where we were. But meals are communal, collective, and it's a wonderful place to have super conversations. I know everybody says, hey, we'll get together and share stories when the beer flag goes up. Well, those stories start the minute the lights on go on in the morning, and during the meal time is another great place to share about yourself, about what you're doing during the day, and how you're serving each other and the communities. I want to wrap up with one thought, and if you have further questions, again, hit me up. If they're pertinent, I'll broadcast them out to everybody. When we go out on operation, there are two things that are overriding. One is our service to the people who are now on the other side of the worst day of their life. That worst day of their life could have been a tornado taking down their home, or it could be what we're dealing with now. People who never had to worry about where their next meal came from, but are suddenly out of work and don't have the money to buy food. And we're addressing food insecurity now in Operation Kick the King. So that's number one. But number two is for every member of TR who's out there on the operation to have an awesome gray shirt experience. Everybody is working together for those two goals. So what you do to make yourself comfortable might be something that you'd be sharing with somebody else to help make them comfortable, and know that from the command and general staff to your strike team leader to the person in the cot next to you snoring their brains out on their first operation are all there to contribute to your positive, awesome gray shirt experience. I really want to thank you for coming. Next week, same time, we've got a session called What the Fuck is Volunteer Leadership and Why Should I Get Talked into a Volunteer Position? It explains, well, exactly what the title is. You can check it out on Roll Call. If you've got any questions, this session has a lifetime guarantee. Got any more questions as time goes on, hit me up. I'll be glad to answer them. Thanks a lot. Be safe and try to be sane while you're doing it. Thank you. Good night.